They don't live together.
They don't even live together.
Well, are you pushing for it? You sound like you're condoning this and you're pushing for them to live together or get married.
No,
Where's
it would
your
make
stance?
more sense.
Where's your
though.
stance on that?
No, her life is her life.
Yeah.
You know, whatever she does only concerns me with the way that it will affect my daughter.
Right.
And if she marries this guy, you know, at this point, I'm kind of hoping that they do get married, just so that my daughter doesn't get fucked up when they break up, and now she's like, well, where's
Right.
Steven? You know?
Steve McQueen.
Steve the Queen.
You know, and that's just the way I look at it. Is I really hope this works out. You know, whether he's a douchebag and a tool to Trish, I could really give a fuck. But you know, when she's talking about he spanks me, this and that, that's when I really get on edge, and I'm like, you know, my daughter likes to joke about that.
Right.
At her age, she thinks it's funny to say, he spanked me, and see that she's getting a rise out of Daddy.
Already starting.
And
The manipulation
cow.
begins.
She's learning where the buttons are at, so to speak.
she knows.
Hot buttons.
She knows.
Yeah, violence is
'Cause
usually
she's
a
like
hot
her
button.
Mother,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, I mean, anything that triggers a sort of emotions, you know, one of those buttons.
Yeah, speaking
like
of
a
emotions,
clitoris.
I was with my daughter pretty much, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours on a Sunday hanging out. And she's perfect, you know. She's great with me. As soon as her mom comes home, here comes the crying, here comes the whining, all this stuff. I'm like, really? I said, you know what? People only do what works. Crying does not work with me when it comes to my daughter. I said, you need to go in your room. When you stop crying, you can come back out and talk to me. I was like, because the living room, the kitchen area, this is the fun area. Crying isn't fun. You go in your room and do it by yourself. And I want to let her know that if she's going to be a whiny little girl, she's going to be alone. If she's going to be fun and laughing and good times, hey, you're going to have people around you.
Right. That sounds like
Right? It makes sense.
great
So she
thing.
doesn't do it with me. She doesn't cry with me.
Yeah.
Does
As soon as
it work
mom
with
comes
her mom?
home, oh, mommy, yeah.
And
I'm
it
like,
works.
Of course. You know, my
Wait
wife
till-
is hugging her, kissing her. What's
Wow.
wrong? What are you doing? And then after a while, my wife gets agitated, and then she's yelling at her, and they're arguing. And I'm like, you're just feeding into all that attention she wants. She doesn't
Right.
care how she gets it. She's going to get it from you.
Good or bad,
You
she
need
just
to-
wants the
And
attention.
I'm like, okay, that's fine. If you're going to deal with women like that, that's fine. That's how your friends are going to be. But when it comes to men, no, you're not going to be like that with men.
No.
Because I'm teaching her right now
Right.
how to deal with the opposite sex.
Yeah.
And right now, your wife is teaching your daughter how to be a woman
Not really. She's not
in
a
her
woman
way.
yet. Yeah.
You know what I mean? She's the example.
She's teaching her something. It's
Yeah,
not the
and
right
you're
thing.
teaching her how the same thing as I am. So basically, I'm talking to my daughter. She's getting smarter and smarter every day, and I just tell her, I say, look, I'm going to be the best daddy I can be. I'm going to be a good role model for you. And she's like, yeah, one ear out the other. But eventually, she'll understand that the reason I'm doing this is so
Yeah.
you pick a good guy like your dad to have a family
Right.
with.
It's a little seed you implant.
Yeah.
That's the thing with us.
Just nurture
is
it.
A lot of my friends and family have told me, you don't need to explain to your daughter, you know, what mommy's doing wrong. You don't need to badmouth
I think I've said that.
her. You know, she'll get to the age where she'll decide and
She'll
she'll
figure
see
it out.
for herself.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, now with the whole daddy thing, and one of the things that she's been telling me, and this is how I found out that she's been calling this other guy daddy,
Fuck you, dude.
is
Correct her.
Yeah.
she's been
Asshole.
saying to me, Daddy, I don't want to share my mommy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you don't have to. You know, but the other little girl in the situation, his daughter, calls my ex mommy.
Oh, God.
And
Just
that's
burn that
okay.
house down, dude. This sounds like so fucking frustrating.
Yeah. Sounds like a dream about trains colliding or something.
It's
It is. I mean, there is nothing I can do. Like I said, if I try and correct the situation, there's an argument for it. You know, what am I gonna do? Where I have no place to go. You're a fucking big girl. You got choices.
Oh yeah, you do.
You
I
know?
mean, it's not like she's in Cuba or where you don't have choices on matters.
Exactly.
I don't like the victim aspect of that attitude.
That's the
Yeah,
whole
never
thing.
play the victim.
Is she has gotten so used to playing the victim.
To
Even things that were like borderline during our marriage.
she
where it
plays the
was-
victim role to critical acclaim.
Shit, she deserves an Oscar.
It's-
Meyer Wiener.
Oh, she's
And
getting the wiener.
Kulo.
But
Shit.
no, it's funny because she's played the victim for a long time now.
Yeah, I don't like that.
It works, right?
Well,
People do what works. Only the insane keep doing things the same way and expecting different results every time.
Right.
It works. People do, what's successful. She's been a victim, and she attracts a certain kind of person.
Yeah, well,
the
you see-
victimizer.
My daughter's going through that age where she doesn't get along with her mom. That's why she lives with me.
Yeah,
that's
natural,
and
though.
sometimes she tries to, whenever I see her like acting like a wounded, something, and that she's the victim, I correct her on that shit immediately. We seen Paranormal Activity a couple weeks ago, right?
How was it?
It's all right. It's eerie, but
Yeah.
she saw it and it freaked out a little more than it should have, maybe. But I don't like that shit. So, she the week after she went every day to her mom's because she didn't want to be home alone while I'm at work for my small shift.
That
Yeah.
movie fucked her up?
It fucked her up that bad. So then I told her, have your mom take you home. Have your mom take her home. Finally, one night her mom took her home. So she's sitting at home, and I call her and say, hey, you need anything from the store? I'm about to get home. She's like, well, hurry up, Dad. I don't like it. I feel creepy in this house. I was like, no, you'll be all right. Can I grab you a sandwich?
Your apartment?
Can I? Yeah. Can I? She's creeped out to be
Like
there
it's
alone.
a mansion.
Right. But she's creeped out to be alone. So, I mean,
Is that movie based on like being alone in the
Yeah.
house or something?
Something
not
like that.
Really, but what it is, and I've heard people say this, it's not a freaky movie. It's not like
right.
all
It's not
crazy.
It's not a freaky
but
movie.
it will get you at home.
Psychologically. If you're.
When you're at home alone, that's when these thoughts will start to creep in, and you're like, oh, what the fuck? What was that
Yeah.
crackling noise? It's like,
So.
duh, it's the fucking trash can outside with the
Yeah,
bag
exactly.
rippling.
It just
you
it's
know?
a little wind blowing,
Yeah.
Someone could have farted outside. But being me, I call her and say, I'm on my way home. Can I grab you a soda? I'm gonna stop by 7-Eleven and blah blah blah. And right before I hang up, I'm just like, oh, just one more thing. Don't open the closet, whatever you do.
See, you're an
It's
asshole.
like-
You keep it going.
See,
Keep it moving. That's good though. Who cares, man? I mean, it's a fucking movie. People
Well,
are all
that's-
afraid to watch a videotape. After The Ring came out, they're like, I don't know, I might get sucked into the TV.
Yeah, right. Your boyfriend calls you and he has a bad connection. You think you got the Ring calling you on another line.
yeah. Well,
You got the asshole with the Ring.
that
on
was
the
a
other
question that my stepmother-in-law posed to me. Was, my daughter likes watching Cinderella, Snow White, all the fairy tales, but Snow White's kind of eerie at certain points.
Yeah, it's
you
kind of
know?
creepy.
I mean,
And
if you think
and
about
she
it.
goes, well, the first time your daughter saw that, how was she? Did she get creeped out? And I said, no. She just was asking questions about, Snow White's running through the forest and she's seeing all this shit that she's never seen before, so she's freaking out, and my daughter would ask me questions. I'm like, oh, well, she's scared because of this. Oh, she's scared because of that. And who are those people? Well, they look like crocodiles, whatever it was.
Yeah,
And-
7 dwarfs
and she handles it like it's a fucking movie, and
Right,
that's
there's
just how it
nothing
is.
else.
Yeah.
And I went through a similar experience as your daughter when I saw Friday the 13th, like part 8 or whatever the
Part
fuck
8,
it was.
they sucked by that time.
Exactly,
How could
but
you-
I mean, I was watching them over at my friend's house, like 1, 2, 3,
On drugs.
and that kind of stuff.
Nightmare
I
on
was
Elm
like-
Street got me.
I was like 12
was
years
10.
old, but
Pussy.
I would be like, I don't want to look in my closet. I don't want to, and my parents just dealt with it like, look, it's a movie. I realize it's gonna scare you, but there ain't shit in your closet,
One of my favorite video clips of all time is the parents are videotaping and they're like,